we'll hear from Dr. Karen Somerville, who's president of Canadians for Properly Built Homes. Karen.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. I recognize many faces in the crowd, and we appreciate your ongoing support and your interest. I can tell you that as each month passes, the urgent need for Bill 60, the Tarion Oversight and Accountability Act, becomes more and more obvious. Tonight I'm going to give you 6 examples of why this new legislation is so important. We have many more, but I've focused on 6 tonight. Excuse me. Using Tarion's own client survey data, approximately 60,000 Ontario families, Tarion's clients, are dissatisfied with Tarion. This number is very significant, and some of you who are in this room tonight counted in that number. As we know, the purchase of a home is the largest purchase that most consumers make. A home with serious construction defects, an unresponsive builder, and the lack of adequate consumer protection is financially very difficult for most families, but it goes far beyond the money, as many of you here know. It's the loss of time with our families, it's the stress and anxiety, it goes on and on. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is that the media continues to highlight serious problems as a result of shoddy construction in Ontario. It's important to note that in addition to Tarion's warranty responsibilities, it's also the regulator of the building industry. Let me be clear about this, please. There are good builders operating in Ontario. We simply don't know who they are, for sure. There are also marginal and poor builders operating in Ontario. Why does Tarion continue to let their Tarion-approved marginal and poor builders operate? We need to ask that question. Point number 3. Unfortunately, there continues to be serious problems with municipal inspections. Section 18 of the Act that Tarion is responsible for administering, the Ontario New Home Warranty Plan Act, Section 18 of that Act allows Tarion to inspect during construction. But it appears that Tarion continues to choose not to inspect during construction. If Tarion exercised its inspection rights with sufficient qualified inspectors, it would pick up many, if not all, of the Ontario Building Code violations missed by municipalities during construction, and would also pick up habitability and workmanship issues which the municipalities are not focused on. Tarion could then ensure that the construction defects are properly fixed before consumers take possession of the homes. We understand that qualified Tarion inspectors inspecting during construction would quickly pay for themselves while improving the quality of Ontario's housing stock and improving consumer protection. Point number 4, Section 13 of that same Act says that Tarion's warranty needs to ensure the home is constructed in accordance with the building code. Dara Bowser has already spoken to this issue tonight. Many of you in this room have suffered from your homes not meeting the minimum standard of the Ontario Building Code. But Tarion has denied some homeowner claims involving Ontario Building Code violations as consumers did not report within the required time frame that Tarion sets itself through their own regulations. As one example, Tarion has left numerous seniors to freeze in their newly built homes with Ontario Building Code violations. We have been asking how Tarion can legally ignore Section 13 of the Act, but no answers have been provided by Tarion or by Minister Orazietti to that question. Point number 5. Generally, both Tarion and Minister Orazietti appear to have adopted a strategy of not answering most of our questions related to Tarion, but then they often respond that they did answer the questions. When we've asked for them to resend what they said they originally sent, we have been met with silence. It is surprising how Minister Oraziettti's words seem to parrot what Tarion says. Think about this, a minister. Also, Minister Orazietti says that he is working with Tarion. but he and his ministry are supposed to be providing oversight to Tarion. Indeed, according to Tarion's financial statements, the Government of Ontario receives about $250,000 annually in an oversight fee that the financials have called related party transactions. Now that's surprising when you think of this, because it's supposed to be arm's length. The lines between the Government of Ontario and Tarion are indeed very blurred. Tragically, Premier Wynne and Minister Orzietti and others in the Ministry of Government and Consumer Services seem much more interested in protecting Tarion and the building industry than Ontario's consumers. Point number 6, the last one that I'll raise this evening. Tarion is a mandatory monopoly, and Ontario's purchasers of newly built homes pay most of the fees collected by Tarion. Tarion's financials show that Tarion's wealth continues to grow. As one example, in their most recent published financial statements, Tarion has reported $478 million in investments as of December 2014. $478 million. That's one example out of those financials. How has Tarion, a non-profit corporation, been allowed to accumulate this wealth while denying consumer claims for Ontario Building Code violations? It's time for proper oversight of Tarion and for Tarion to become accountable to Ontario's consumers. Bill 60 is an important step in this urgently needed transformation of Tarion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karen Somerville, for your important comments.